3, 2, and all right, it is Thursday morning with Eric, of course, and this is even hopefully the day after we're supposed to go to court. It got pushed back this week, of course. I told the viewers yesterday,
Yeah,
And
yeah. Good morning, everybody.
good morning. Sorry about yesterday, the confusion yesterday. I was on a call because I was waiting for your call, so I decided to do some segments, right? And
Yep.
I was on the call with my southern friend who celebrated his birthday this past weekend. He's okay. This guy is like 10 years younger than me, and I call him my southern brother. But he's from Philadelphia, and
Yep.
he was he looks like Jonah Hill kind. He acts like Jonah Hill, okay, and
Like Jonah Hill, you said?
yeah, he has like Jonah Hill mannerisms, okay. He,
Yep, yep.
and he's a comedian in Atlanta too, and he always says he's like the love child of like Rosie O'Donnell and whatever, and he says something in his act about Jonah Hill before back in the day. So then we got into the conversation when you called yesterday. We got in the conversation about Chris Rock. He said Chris Rock really buried Will Smith in his live what do you call it? His live Netflix special.
His live Netflix special.
Do, do, can you watch Netflix at the prison?
No. Well, we used to have a subscription, and then they canceled it. But we don't have a movie channel anymore. But we used to get. But I've seen clips of it. They've been showing clips of it all over the news and different stations on the different networks and stuff. So I've heard some of the things he said. It was funny. But he didn't get too much good reviews. I was reading on the tablet on USA Today. They didn't give him too much reviews. They said he was a 50-year-old man ranting. His jokes were stale, and some people was giving him bad reviews on some of the stuff he was saying.
But Vinny, I mean, a lot of people said he nailed like the last 10 minutes when he nailed Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Of course, we have Eric over here, the inmate from the ACI. We don't always talk about what's going on at first. We talk about some current events, and that's what I like about you because you're a positive person, and you talk about these events too. Because in jail, people want to know what's going on in the real outside and what's in the entertainment field too, right?
Yeah. We're pretty much, we're with the access we have, we're pretty much up aware on our current events and things that are occurring. I watch several different networks of news, so that way I know what's going on in the world because I'm very interested in that. Especially once I pay attention to what's going on, and I watch BBC World News. I watch there's an NKH network that talks about like the Asian news. So there's just different outlets that I have. PBS gives a lot of these good different news outlets that touches on things around the world. So I'm aware of what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on over there in Belarus with Lukashenko, Bolsonaro, Lulu. So I'm aware of what's going on all around the world because I'm into world politics. So
Sure.
I try to pay attention to all of those things that are occurring around me.
When I got arrested those 2 times back in Atlanta for those stupid things, right? That one day they had it on Fox News. I remember that, and it kind of kept me calm watching Sean Hannity, and it's like even though I wasn't in jail for a long time, but I mean a few hours still was a little apprehensive. Somebody always said, a friend of mine who's in the music business, but he's a good person. He says the only thing that matters. He always says he's in jail for one day. He only counts the day he gets in and the day he gets out, or 2 days.
Yeah. I've heard guys say that. It says there's only 2 days in jail: the day you go in and the day you get out.
Yep.
So I've heard that saying.
And me, it happened the same day. So I guess I'm pretty fortunate for that. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it's still a rude awakening. What's happening? What could happen? Because but the thing is, Fox News calmed me down a little bit. Or just watching it and I don't know, just getting my mind off what's going on. But I'll tell you, like getting arrested, Ashley, when your family knows you get arrested, it's not actually better. It's better than when they unknown. Like the first time I got arrested, my ex-wife knew about it, and so it wasn't a shock because. But the second time I got arrested was for a stupid suspended license, right? And
Yeah, Georgia tends to do that down there. That's like their big money maker. It's a big industry when it comes to locking people up down there.
well,
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to say that because it's just obvious down there.
Right. Well,
it's a revenue. It's a revenue maker. You know, to
it is.
people down there.
Well, the scary thing is, the second time I got arrested, they didn't know I got arrested because it was a suspended license. At least the first time they knew where I was. You know what I'm saying? The second time I had to be there for them because they had no car, and then when I got back to the place, even though it was my ex-wife, well, it wasn't technically my ex-wife, but still, I had to get back because the children and they almost didn't know where I was, so they had to get back for the children for the bus. And the cops don't even care that you got children cut off the bus at a certain time, you know, and so they put me in a solitary confinement just for the suspended license part, right? And my license was suspended only for a week, and the thing is, I said I had children. I kept calling the cops. I mean, they let me call my ex-wife and say, but no one answered, and then they finally, put two and two together, said he's not coming, and they didn't know where I was still. But I tried to call them, and the thing is, I'd rather get arrested with someone knowing. I'd rather not get arrested at all, but I'd rather get arrested people knowing than versus unknowing, because unknowing is much more apprehensive.
Well, you're right. Anything could happen to you. But I told you the first time I was ever arrested down there was for same thing, right? Driving on a suspended license.
Really?
To that effect down. Yeah, Snellville. I was pulled over in Snellville. What happened was there was a car coming down my lane. I was turning. I was supposed to be turning. I was supposed to be making a left turn, and there was a guy that was trying to make the light before I could go, and he almost hit me. I was on 178. I don't know if you know how 178 runs from Stone Mountain all the way into Bougainville, Loganville, going all the way up Scenic Route, and all of those ways up there in 178 runs way up. So I was coming across, and he almost hit me. Wow. I was making a left turn because he was trying to make the light. So a cop sees that, pulls me over, and says that I was the one that was in the wrong. So, after me and him, had a dispute about who was in the right and who was in the wrong, he didn't ticket me for that, but he said, "Oh, your license is spent." And at the time, I had a brand new car. I just got a brand new car.
Really?
So he said, "Well, I have to take you in." The only good thing about it, he was a nice officer. He didn't tow my car. My mom happened to live. My family, my mom was living in Loganville at the time, so they happened to just come and get the car from right up the street because I was on the way to my mother's house, and they happened to come and get the car, and I went and sat in. I went and sat in Gwinnett County Jail for a few hours, almost 48 hours, and they told me it was like a hostage situation. It was like, well, you either pay $545 or you sit in jail for 48 hours. And I'm like, hold on. I've been incarcerated before, so 48 hours is nothing to me, So I said, you know what? Since this is a hostage situation and you got me hostage, I'm not paying you $45 because that's what this is. You could have let me go with a summons to show up to court with a fine. Right. Why would you incarcerate me at the Gwinnett County Detention Center for 48 hours unless I pay you your money? Right. So I wasn't willing to negotiate in those hostage terms. So I did my 48 hours. I ate some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with orange juice and vanilla wafer cookies. And then I did my 48 hours in the bullpen and I got out. But just imagine that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I sat back and I realized that Atlanta, the way that the South works, that's how they build revenue for those cities and towns.
Yes.
That's why when you're going down 85 on any given Sunday, you're going down 85. You have a Durville police officer, you have a DeKalb County sheriff, you have a North Cross police officer, and a Gwinnett County police officer all lined up on 85 pulling people over. Have you ever seen that down there?
Yeah.
Like it's just like different towns. As you ride through those different towns and cities, they're like pulling cars over on the highway. They're telling them to get over, and they're clocking speeds. So all that is down there, it's they figure out another way to generate revenue for the cities and towns, and that's why when you notice all around those prisons, there's a bunch of bail bondsman places. It's right across the street from the prison, right across the street from the jail. It's all of these bail bonds. So everybody's making money. They figure out another way to generate revenue so everybody can make money.
And that's another thing. That's another thing,
Yeah.
Eric. Guess who was one of my sponsors down there when I got arrested too? Bail's Bondsman was one of my prime sponsors down there. Okay, and I went to him. I went to him for my Bail's Bondsman when I got arrested twice.
What was the name? Was it Free at Last? Bill Bonds?
No. I was in Cobb County, and he sponsored me. I love going to his business because it was a nice business. And then I says, who am I going to get for Bail's Bondsman? Someone that I'm sponsoring me. I'm gonna give him the business, But then when I got arrested in my a different I had to use, I think, a different bondsman. Oh, did I use the same one? It was a different county, but especially in a different county, it's worse because it's like I don't have the transportation to get back to that county, so I had to have someone with a car to take me to court. It's better to get arrested in your own county because at least in your own county you can get there quicker. You know what I'm saying? In this other county, there's no bus system, so it's like it's.
Oh yeah, I know. Gwinnett County had no bus system that took you from Gwinnett County to Atlanta, like here in Rhode Island, or the metro cities of the north that we have different connecting. Like a bus system that runs all throughout. Like down there, like they didn't have a spotter, they didn't have a martyr or none of those things that ran in the city of Gwinnett from Atlanta to Gwinnett. So that's why when I got down there, I had to buy 2 cars because there was no way you could actually live down there without having transportation because there's no bus system, there's nothing down there to get you from point A to point B. So if I wanted to come visit you in Cobb County and I lived in Gwinnett, there is no connected buses or trains to take me from Gwinnett to Cobb County. You know what I mean? It was just it's a total, it's crazy.
Well, there is actually Clayton County got rid of the bus system. I mean, and that's the city where the bus was necessary. But the Clayton County, you could actually get to Clayton County by you could go to Clayton County like train, then you could take the train to Atlanta, then the bus to Atlanta to Cobb County. But it's not as easy as it is in Rhode Island. You're right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, they have connecting trains and they have different things, but it's just it's like you said, it's a headache to get from one. Like Gwinnett County has its own little in county, transportation, but to get from connecting, you have to take a train, and then
exactly.
It's a lot.
It's like you got to get a hotel. You know what I'm saying? But also, let me ask you why. Okay, so viewers probably want to know. You had a court date last week, then it got postponed to this week. And of course, we're recording this 2 days before the court date, but this is airing the day after the court date. Why did they postpone it to this week from last week?
All right. So what happened was I was down there in the cell block waiting to get called up. My court date started at 2:00. Another guy that's here with me in the facility, he was doing a hearing with his DNA. Come to find out, he was charged for rape. And he didn't, come to find out they had a DNA expert say it was his DNA. Come to find out it wasn't his DNA. And now he was having a hearing with the same prosecutor, and he was putting his DNA expert on the stand. The state put their DNA. So it was taking a while. So my lawyer came down and he says, Eric, you want to wait till 2:00, and she might not be done. And then you'll just sit down here all day. or we could postpone it till next Wednesday at 2 o'clock, and we'll come back and we'll get the hearing. I said, you know what? What's the sense of sitting down here till all the way all day? I was hungry. I didn't, so I was just like, you know what? Instead of wasting my whole day down here and then nothing happens, I might as well just postpone it and let this guy finish out his hearing with her in the morning, and we'll come back next week. So it was my decision really to continue it. So I just said, let's just continue it. I told him to text Rika and let her know, and she texted everybody else and let them know that it was postponed till this Wednesday at 2 o'clock.
So that is cool. That's cool. But how frustrating is that for you when things get postponed?
Well, you're frustrated when you don't know what's going on. In this instant, my attorney, he came to me. He told me what was going on. He came down. He let me know it was my option to either. I could have got my hearing because it turned out it was done before 2 o'clock. But I just didn't want to roll the dice and then just sit down there all day. Everybody shows up, at 2 o'clock. So I'd rather just let everybody know like a couple hours ahead that it was continued, and just that way instead of having you show up, everybody show up, and then there's no hearing. So I'd rather have just made sure that I got it on a day. But you know what? Patience, though, they say patience is a virtue. So,
yes.
Everything sometimes happens for the best, but maybe everything happens for a reason. I just got to be patient in this situation. Keep the faith knowing that everything's going to work out in the long run. And hopefully this judge is willing to take a significant amount of time off my sentence, which he already says he will. But now it's a determination. We got to hammer out some things on Wednesday, some housekeeping things on what we're looking to get. Well, not what we're... some things he want to straighten out. So I'm going to be speaking on the record. I'm going to be having a dialogue with the judge, and then we're going to try to figure out some things. So that's why, then I guess he'll make a determination as to how much time he's willing to take off and stuff like that. Either way, it's a win-win situation for me. It could be a situation where it could come down to me being here for another few months, or it could come down to a situation where I would see parole immediately, and I only got like a couple years left to finish, but it'll put me up for parole immediately, where I'll be able to get out immediately. So, either way, it could pan out for me.
So that's cool. So, the chance of you being there for a year, that won't probably happen. You could probably get out by at least 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if if he's willing to take off, it all depends if he's willing to take off 6 years or 10 years off my sentence. If he takes off 6 years, left. I'll be immediately up for parole. If he takes off, 6 years, well, if he takes off 10 years, I got a couple months left. If he takes off 6 years, I'll be immediately up for parole, and I got a couple years left before I'm out the door.
Oh, couple years.
Either way,
okay.
like I said. Okay. So either way it works out, But, I want people, anybody that has any questions out there that want to ask me anything, they can email me at Eyachin, EYACHIN 401 at gmail.com. So it's EYACHIN at gmail. 401, I'm sorry, EYACHIN 401 at gmail.com. I always confuse my Yahoo with my Gmail. But yeah, so, and happy Purim to everybody, all the Jewish people out there that's recognizing, that's celebrating the Purim holiday. I am too. I'll be fasting tonight from 4 to 6. So, I fast last night from 4 to 6. So,
thank you for
everybody out there,
Securus.
All
Goodbye.
right. Well, Eric, thank you very much. We'll do the entertainment news now. Of course, Eric's my friend and me at the ACID shop in the morning. More to come on this Thursday.